In this video, we will provide guidance for developers on how they can test their website donations which have been sent via a webhook to the Engage CRM beta version. Now, before we start, there's a few prerequisites. First and foremost, we advise that please for developers to review the support documentation on what needs to be in a particular webhook, and this is provided by the team in advance. Secondly, we would have, as in N3O, would have provided two URLs in order to send test donations to. One will be a single donation and one will be a regular donation URL. So this needs to be formalized first. And then finally, the N3O team will have provided admin access to the beta version of your relative organization. And then at that point, then you can use this video for further guidance. So once all that is set up and a website donation has actually been sent to the URL, to the QA URL from your developers, you can then come into, or the developer can then come into the data tab and then go to imports. Now you'll have a number of queues, and the one which we're most looking at the most is the donations one. So we click on donations, and now you will see a list of donations and records. And so the developer at this point will click on the three dots here and go to Queue Info and History. Now the Queue Info history is basically showing the number of feeds which indicate different sources of where donations come from, and primarily the website donation will be set up here already, and this is the URL that will be specific to your organization and to your specific CRM, so you will be able to see all of the information here. Now the next stage then is to look at something called import runs. So once a donation has been sent by the test donation has been sent by the developer to the Engage CRM to the relevant URL, you will see a number of import runs. An import run basically refers to every attempt of when something has reached the system and it needs to be imported. And so in most cases, if you are sending a website test donation, you will have a reference number and it will see one record. Now this status, there are a few denominations here. The first thing you'll notice, you may see either processed or you may see error. And so what we would say and we advise at this particular point is that as soon as you have sent a website test donation, come into the system, and very likely the first record will correspond with the time with which you sent the donation. Now the difference between processed and error in this status is that process means that the first level of validation has been passed, i.e. that the data is generally in the merge fields are correct and generally the data is in a state. It doesn't mean it has completely been imported, however it means the first stage of validation has passed. If you see an error, this means that the first stage of validation has not passed, and so we advise to go to View, and View will show you the validation error. So if we go into this particular point, we can go to mapping errors, and we can see here that there is a passing path issue. The allocation type where needed is incorrect. Now this in some cases can be an issue on the side of the data which has been sent from the website, or it could be a configuration issue on the Engage CRM side. And so we first ask that please review your data, and if you're not sure, then please do contact N3O. However, if you see processed, then that means that has passed the first level of validation. Now, if you see processed, then what you can do is you can click on reference. Now this is going into the actual record, and you will see here that we have a reference. Though it was processed from the first validation, we see that there's an error here. And so if we click on this, we will find the information has been now categorized in the system, and we will see now an error here. So we can see that the Stripe charge or payment ID must be specified. This will differ based on the type of information which has been sent by the webhook. But what we will notice here is the account has been created. So when we see green, we know that the account information is okay in this webhook. If we click on this, we can see all of the data which has come in. So this is test data, as you can see, but all of the information has been filled in accordingly. We have the consent date and email address, etc. However, when we come to the payment, we can see that the create payment has failed. So if we open this, we can see that there is a problem with the Stripe charge or the payment ID, which is generally normal when you do test donations. But this is what's stopping this from importing into the system. So what we would advise, if you see this and you're still not sure, you can go back to the donation. And then we advise that at this point, you can see the webhook information which has been sent by your website. What you can do on the right side here, you'll see a small icon. If you click on this, it will provide you access to the JSON data that you sent over. If we click download JSON, and we can see now that something has been populated, and this is the JSON data from your website. Now if we copy this and we put it into a JSON viewer, any JSON viewer is fine. We might recommend the Code Beautify one. And you put in the information here, and then you come on the right and press Beautify. Here you'll see the information which has now been sent by your website. And what we would advise at this stage for developers is please do check that all of the information is correct, that there is no, number one, no missing information, and secondly, that the information matches the website webhook guidance that we've provided previously. So the first point of call before contacting N3O will be to go through this webhook and just make sure that all of the parameters and all of the figures match with that which has been presented in the N3O guidance document, which will have been shared with you previously. If you find that there is any issues, then you know that, for example, that the charge ID or something is missing, then you can amend your webhook and send another webhook to the system and try that again. If you are relatively sure that all of the information is correct and you are still having an issue, then at that point we advise please get in touch with support@n3o.ltd or the designated developer from the N3O side who's been set for you, and they can help in terms of the relevant assistance. Now, to show an example of a record which has imported successfully, we will go to another subscription, and from here we will choose, so at the bottom we'll see here one has passed now the first element of validation. We'll click on this, and you'll also then see that it is imported. So this is the second level which has been imported successfully. So we click on this, you'll find now that we have a green tick which indicates the record has been imported, and you'll see each of the account, payment and donation has been imported successfully. So we can even click on the donation and we can find that all of the information has come in as per the correct funds, and of course this will now have been imported into the system. Once this is working and you are happy with that a single donation and a regular donation has been processed, then at that point it should be suitable then to move the configuration to the new to the live system, the production environment, and a final test can be done there. Thereafter the website can go live. There is one element to do with sponsorships and feedbacks, which is a separate element, but again that will all be in the website guidance which we provided in the webhooks, and again we can discuss with N3O, but we strongly advise that please go through this process internally and make sure that your webhook data is correct before discussing with N3O for testing. Thank you.